Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Tabby Loves. I'm Tabitha and I talk to you about the things that I love. Welcome back to Exploring Smut. This July edition we're going to be reading Moon Touched by Elizabeth Briggs. This is also my buddy read that I'm doing with my friend Adia again. Though I'm not asking her to come on for this episode. It's just because I don't feel like having to set all that up or whatever. But I thought it'd be fun to do a werewolf book for this show. So here we are, a werewolf book. It's a little bit longer than what I usually like to pick for this show. But it has potential. But like it could be fun. I don't know. We'll see. The whole series is called the Zodiac Wolves. All the wolves are like different, each pack is a different zodiac. Not sure how that works yet because I haven't started actually reading it. But we'll see. Apparently there's also a hidden 13th pack, so like a hidden 13th zodiac sign or something. Well, I don't know how that's gonna work either. But like it's gonna have mates, and that's like the bare minimum of what it could have. It could have nodding, I don't know yet. We'll see. Well, yeah, let's get into it. Hello. If everything went according to plan, you should be seeing this before the meat of the video. I did want to pop in here from the future, hi, to say that I found out halfway through this video, because my friend and I are reading this together, and she found out and told me that the author for this book has died near the end of 2025 or early 2026. Somewhere around that range. She had like stage 4 colon cancer, and the family had made a statement saying that if you purchase the books, and they didn't say this specifically, but I think if you read them on Kindle Unlimited, any money that would be made through Kindle Unlimited also counts, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I did just want to add it up here at the top of the video that if you want to look at this book yourself, if you want to look into this author more, I didn't see anything about a GoFundMe. If you wanted to research that yourself, you could. But I just wanted to include that at the top of the video here. I, especially considering this is already halfway through the book by the time I discovered this, I'm not going to be changing anything I say or adjusting my opinion in any way because of this information. Just so you know, keeping, integrity here. But that being said, though, I did want to just give you guys the opportunity that if you wanted to help support the family and help pay for medical bills, any of that you can by checking out this book yourself, basically. Or looking to see if there's a GoFundMe, because like I said, I couldn't find one. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video anyway. Already, I am not enjoying the writing for this. Oh my god. Already, we're having to deal with bullies, and these bullies are your stereotypical bullies. Of course, of course she's an outcast for the rest of the pack because she has human blood, because of course. Why would she fit in? Why would she? You can never have a story like this where the main character fits in. Never. ready to. He's like, "What are you doing out here, Mutt? Answer my question, Mutt." And she goes, "I'm sorry," I snapped back. "I didn't realize your stupidity required answering. Anyone with 2 eyes and basic brain function can see what I'm doing, but you're obviously missing one of those. I'm still not sure which one." Girl, I knew this girl when I was in college that talked like this unironically, and it's so lame. It's so lame. One other pack. Apparently the Leos and the Cancers hate each other, I guess. And so she's talking about how her dad complains about the alpha of the Leo group or whatever, and says that according to her dad, that he was constantly plotting ways to undermine or take over the Cancer pack. And how does that work? Because it seems like everyone in the Cancer pack, besides the main character obviously, were born Cancers. And they all have the Cancer signs, and they all have Cancer powers that are like a birthright for the Cancer pack. How would someone from another pack take over another pack when it's all zodiac based? That doesn't necessarily make sense. So they're ready to go to this thing called the Convergence or whatever, and that's where like all the special ceremonies happen, including when this main character is going to get their wolf or whatever. But there's already some questions, like, so they're driving there, and she's like, "Oh, I've never been allowed to go to one of these before." Also, apparently, her dad is also abusive. She was the result of an affair or whatever. Even though they have fated mates, so, like, let's raise some questions, like, so he has a mate. So is fated mates not, like for sure love? Because if he had an affair, that means he doesn't love his mate. Simple as that. But anyway, the point is that her dad is abusive and doesn't want her around anything, and never let her go to a Convergence before. So, because I guess you could go, but he just didn't allow her to. But now that she's 22 and she's of age to get her wolf, he has to bring her, I guess. And she's talking about going past the cities, because I guess they live in Vancouver or whatever, or something like that. And she's like, "Oh, I dreamt about, like, potentially running away to the States, but now I know that's a fool's dream." And I'm like, why? If her dad hates her, her entire pack hates her, why didn't she just leave and go somewhere else? Like, why would they not let her leave if they hated her so much and want her to end up going to another pack? If they're hoping that she's going to end up going to another pack, then what difference would it be if she had just straight up left instead? That's my question, and we didn't get an answer. So, and of course we have to have the events of the book happens. If she ran away, the book wouldn't happen or whatever, but I didn't hear a good reason why. It was just said, like, that's not a possibility, and that's it. That's all we got. Also, the first 2 chapters have been kind of useless. Like, we could have started at the Convergence. We did not need to read these 2 chapters. The first chapter of her getting beat up on the beach, the second chapter of her packing, I guess, and this small little road trip that was barely part of the chapter. I don't understand. I think maybe the author wanted to show how the conditions were in the pack, but that is also something you can do in hindsight. But I digress. Obviously, it's the next day. A lot has happened. So let me all give you the rundown while I'm working on my nails. It's time for a new shade. I'm going with red because my outfit is very much red-ish today. Got the red earrings, the red eyeshadow, lipstick, all of that. And I know the nail polish is a little bit more permanent, but I don't mind my nails being red for the next few weeks as the paint slowly chips off. Anyway, let me update you on what has happened in the book so far, because a lot of shit went down, but also it went down in a very short amount of time. So most of the other chapters were, again, it was just all build-up stuff, like she, it kind of shows, like, oh, like, this is what the convergence is, and this is what happens, and, oh, she sneaks away for a little bit before, like, her actual convergence or whatever. Where she gets her wolf, like, beforehand, she goes out hiking in the woods nearby, and oh wow, she found a super attractive man that she has never seen before. And of course, this super attractive man lets her go, and then he comes back right before the ceremony, and is like, you better let my pack rejoin the rest of the zodiac wolves or else. And then everyone was incredibly mean about that. Very much did not like it, did not like them, and was yelling awful things out to them, and everyone agreed that they would not be welcomed back, I guess. And then they're like, you're gonna regret it, and then they left. And then the main character gets her wolf, and guess what? It's a pure white wolf. Who's surprised? Not me. I don't know if you guys have read a lot of these kind of, like, fan fictions back in the day, right? But the all-white wolf was quite a bit of a chosen wolf kind for the main characters in a lot of fan fiction stories. Like, there's something about white wolves that captured the imagination of girls everywhere. Even in, like, other werewolf books I've read. I'm trying to remember the name of one. It starts with Night. It's like Nightthorn or something like that. That's probably way off, actually. Like, the plot of that one is that it is another society of wolves, and they come across a human that was accidentally bitten or whatever. Or actually, I don't think he was accidentally bitten. He was born with the gene, but they didn't know who he was, and he comes in, and they end up shaking everything up. And there was these creatures that were ruling over those wolves or whatever. And it turns out those creatures were actually bad. Surprise, surprise. And then they all, like, kind of fought against them. It was a really cool book. I reread it as an adult, and there was some concerning things, including a 16-year-old getting in a relationship with a 20-year-old. Actually, he might have even been older than 20. Like, he was in his 20s, which was really kind of a problematic message. But besides that, I liked that series, even as an adult. But the main character in that series was also an all-white wolf. So, and of course, the hot guy from the streams or whatever, his wolf was all black. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. And then immediately after the ceremony where she gets her wolf, there's the mating ceremony. And the big, like, hook for this book is that she is rejected by her mate, which is what happens. The mating ceremony happens, and it turns out her mate is the asshole that she had a run-in earlier that day, or I don't even know if I remember if it was that day or if it was the day before, because it was a little confusing timeline-wise. I think it was the day before they had, like, a run-in, and she was mouthy with him or whatever, and nearly got herself into trouble with that. So they're kind of drawn together, and then last minute he's like, no, I reject her. I don't want a half mutt in the Leo pack or whatever. And there's some big thing like, oh, like, now that their mates are rejected, they're doomed to never find love, to never belong to a pack, and all of this. And then the Leo pack rises up and destroys the Cancer pack. Because even though her dad hates her, for some reason, even he is like, absolutely not, you will not reject this mating bond, and is like, I don't even know if I would say standing up for her, because I wouldn't say that's necessarily what happened. Like, it seems, especially from his character so far, that he's stepping in because it would have been an insult to the pack and to him that his daughter was being rejected, no matter how much he hates his daughter, and didn't want anything to do with her either. But I digress. It doesn't matter because he dies. So, yeah. And she ends up escaping, and I think she's searching for her friend that was mated right before her disastrous mating ceremony, and had gone off with the Pisces pack. I have a feeling it's going to turn out that the Leo guy wasn't actually her mate either. Like, I don't really trust the sun witches that are over here, like, doing these ceremonies. And there's, like, this big thing, oh, the 13th pack is bad because they, like, slept with moon witches. And apparently that's a no-no, and that means that they potentially have moon magic going through their veins, which, you think, this being a story about wolves, you think that moon would be good and sun would be bad? And I think that's how it's going to end up. So, yeah, and that's kind of where I paused, because I needed a break after all of that. The writing hasn't improved, but because so much had gone on, it was a little bit more tolerable because I was interested to see how these events were going to play out. Because I definitely was not expecting the entire Cancer pack to just be absolutely annihilated, which is crazy. Like, I still kind of confused on how that works with, like, the whole zodiac sign thing. Like, does that mean it's just never going to be, like, what happens if a wolf in the Leo pack is born under a Cancer sun? Or does that not matter? Like, I don't know. The zodiac thing hasn't been explained very well. And it leads to a lot of questions. And also, like, the 13th zodiac, like, I don't recognize the word. I'm not going to try to say it because I'm going to butcher it. But I assume that maybe I'm just uneducated. Maybe that is some sort of other constellation. I don't know if there ever has been, like, rumors of a 13th zodiac sign, like, in real life. So, that's neither here nor there. But that's my little update. So, let's get back to reading. I will say, her ability to be able to travel from, like, streams of moonlight is kind of cool. Like, that's kind of a cool magic power. I'm storing that away in here for the idea bank to use eventually. Maybe not, obviously not exactly like that, but, like, that's the kind of, like, outside of the box thinking for powers that I want to incorporate in my own writing one day. So, you know, this author does have some good concepts and some good ideas, even if the writing is a bit iffy at points. Honestly, if someone was keeping me held captive and I was like suspicious of them, and then I woke up and they had bought me fast food, like a fast food breakfast sandwich with hash browns, and I left it just in my cell while I was sleeping, they could have all the answers they want. You think I'd give a fuck? Especially if I was treated as badly as this girl said she was treated. She's like, I found myself in the worst situation yet. Like, baby girl, it seems like your situation at home was worse than this. Like, they make sure you got water. They're giving you food. None of them have beaten you up yet. Already significantly better. Like, I know it's because she was, like, raised as these were, like, the boogeyman of shifters, but even she barely remembered who they were when they were, like, announcing themselves. She's like, oh, I maybe remember the stories. Girl, there's no way you're that scared of me. No way. Especially when, according to you, the alpha is that fine. Absolutely not. He could have every answer he wants. Okay? She just said what I said. She was like, they fed me and they hadn't beaten me yet. This was already 2 steps above my life in the cancer pack. That's what I said. Like, girl, it sounds like you got it pretty good. Also, want to add real quick, you've probably recognized or whatever my outfit from the beginning of the video. Ugh, hopefully if I edited right. If not, then from a few minutes ago, because I might have accidentally just put this in line, like, where it was on the stream of videos or whatever. Doesn't matter. But, even though this author has passed away, I will not be holding my punches. I will still be giving you my complete honest opinion of this book, including all the things I dislike, including the things I don't think the author did well. I don't know if it technically counts as being insensitive, but I want to be truthful. I want to be truthful about the things that are bothering me. I want to be truthful about the things I dislike. And honestly, her being dead, it kind of makes me feel less bad for giving such, like, saying negative things about her book, because she's not alive to hear it. So that's where I'm at, just so you know. talk about how he doesn't like to share things and he's always growling and snarling at her. But she goes out to practice her little moon teleporting trick, her little moonlight trick. And he followed her out there because he's like, I'm making sure you're not escaping. Though, of course, she doesn't know that until he dramatically enters. Which, in this case, it is a dramatic entrance, but beside the point. And then he just, without requesting anything from her in return besides, what are you doing out here? And she tells him. He tells her the entire history of the pack and what actually happened. And how the Sun Witches or whatever were lying this whole time. Which I called, by the way. I'm also going to call it now. Her being a pure white wolf that can move with the moonlight. Or you could say the pure white fur is moonlight. It almost seems like we have a missing mother that the main character has never met. She has all these mysterious moon powers. I think her mom was a moon witch. Now, we haven't heard anything about the moon witches at all, so I don't know shit about them, but I just want to come in and say that he's giving her a full rundown on the history of the pack. So I don't want to hear her complain that he's not forthcoming. Because, I mean, come on. She's been training with them for, I don't know, maybe a few days at this point. If that. It honestly has only been 2 days. Like, this is the end of her first day of training. Like, to be fair, I think they're telling her way too much information for someone they don't know they can fully trust yet. But I digress. Immediately at the end of this chapter, he goes, I suspect your mother was a moon witch. Fucking called. Also, she's immediately like, I don't believe you. Like, you must have it wrong. Like, girl, the Sun Witch's manipulation was so obvious. I don't remember if I talked about it during the chapters where it happened. Maybe I forgot to mention it because it kind of, like, not fully came to mind. I knew the Sun Witches were up to shit. Like, I know the Sun Witches probably are the ones that set up that mating bond between her and, I think his name was Jordan, from the Leo pack. And I kind of, like, there's some suspicions. But when she was walking around with the sister, there are wolf pups part of this pack. Like, they're, like they said, oh, usually toddlers get their wolves. And immediately I was like, the Sun Witches, that's the little spell they cast on newborn babies. It's not a blessing. It's them, like, locking away the wolves or some shit. And her, like, automatic denial, like, no, you must be wrong. And he's like, well, I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't matter. Which is true. That it doesn't really matter, does it? Hello. Ignore the way I look. I just got off work. But it has been a few days. And I'm about 50% of the way through this book. I think it's a little bit more now, actually. But I wanted to share with you some thoughts that I have noted through the course of the last, like, 25%. First off, starting out real strong, the FMC inside of her head makes a comment when she has met the sister. The guy, the main male character, has a sister. And, I don't know if I told you guys, she's now living in the house with them. He made, like, a deal with her, like, oh, you can get revenge on the Leos, and you can join our pack or whatever. But we have to prove that you're trustworthy first or whatever. So now she's staying at the house with his sister and him. Because, of course, she is. And the sister is showing her around. And she asks about the two guys that they have bodyguarding her, kind of. I don't know if bodyguard. He's more like guarding her from, like, everyone else from her. Just in case she ends up being bad or something like that. But she refers to them, and she's like, well, what's up with these guys? And the sister is like, oh, well, those are his friends. And the main character in her head goes, friends? Hard to believe he had any. Like, why would she think this? Why would she think this? She has barely talking to this guy. Barely spoke to this man. Why would he not have friends? You yourself, self-proclaimed, I mean, maybe not self-proclaimed, everyone hates you. You've said everyone hates you. You've talked about how much everyone in the pack likes to beat you up or whatever. Even you had a friend, so why wouldn't this guy have a friend? And honestly, she makes several comments that are along these lines. Like, here's another one that I wrote down quote for quote. I couldn't help but smile and shake my head. and she's going to be talking about the sister here. She and Caden really were like day and night. She offered information without any prompting, whereas Caden had withheld it and gotten gruff with me when I'd ask about anything. Well, first off, you were in a cell, and he asked you what your name was, and you refused to tell him. So, if anyone was being gruff and not wanting to tell information, it was you, my girl, which then made him not want to tell you information too. And then what happened when, so like she had asked, like, oh, like he had asked her name. She's like, well, what's your name? And he didn't answer right away. He left. He came back like later. I don't remember how much later. It might have been the next day. It might have been like a 12-hour situation. I don't know. But he came back the next day. He's like, okay, well, here's my name. Here's the pack. Here's what I'm offering you. Like, it wasn't that much withholding information just because he didn't immediately answer your questions. The sister is literally just showing her around town and telling her about the town. Like, it seems like she has unfairly judged this MMC. Like, and look, he has had no personality so far. Like, I'm not saying, like, and obviously, like, I can tell, like, I can read context clues. I know he's going to be the love interest. But that being said, like, her reactions to him just don't make any sense. And, another thing is that he starts with giving her training, which, first off, that's a whole thing, right? Like, in my mind, first off, if you weren't sure if this person was trustworthy, why would you train them? Why would you potentially expose yourself to them knowing all your tricks because you train them? Secondly, the whole thing is he's training her to pass some tests. So, and if she could pass these tests, she can prove that she's useful for the pack, and he'll take her, like, accept her into the pack. But again, what's the point then of having these tests if you're just going to train someone to then pass them? Because then it seems like the tests are kind of moot point. 2, if you want her in the pack so badly that you're training her to get into the pack, then just let her into the pack. You're the alpha. Like, unless there's some, like, government system that I am unaware of, why not just let her join the pack? Why train her? And, like, she needs training. Like, she definitely needs it. Not saying that it's bad that he's giving it to her, just that the reasons for giving it to her doesn't make sense. And she didn't even technically say that she wanted to join his pack. There's just kind of a weird assumption going on, like, oh, it's just assuming that at this point she's going to join their pack, I guess, while she helps get revenge against the Leos. I guess. And then, the only other thing, too, is she keeps on groaning and moaning on and on about how, oh, like, he just hates me, he just spends all day glaring and snarling at me, blah, blah, blah. But she also talks about how she rarely sees him. And honestly, in the few times we do see him, does he do some glaring? Yeah. But he's like, we don't see him sitting in the hall glaring and snarling at her. We don't see him constantly up her ass. Right? So, like, I don't really understand where her attitude is coming from. And speaking of her attitude, that's another thing I want to bring up, is this MC spent her entire life being beaten constantly from everyone in her pack, basically, besides her brother Wesley and her friend Mira. And where is the evidence of that? Her character has absolutely no, like, PTSD, no nervous habits, no anxiety. And, like, the author clearly tries to make her, like, show that her having anxiety. But there's no anxiety traits. Like, she doesn't even lock her door once she has her room here at the little house. I say here, not here. You know what I mean. Like, she doesn't even lock her door. She has absolutely no qualms about anyone moving quickly around her. Like, the sister, like puts out her arms, like, oh, look, here's the town, or whatever. And I'm sorry, but not as someone, I've never been beaten. But I did have a friend at one point if you could call them that used to like to throw things at me and they would like to smack me. And they thought it was funny when I flinched, so it would always be a surprise whether or not I would actually be hit by them or whether they were faking it to get me to flinch. Because like they would actually hit me with stuff, but they would also then sometimes not and pretend that they were going to. That kind of thing. She loved to throw basketballs at my head because she was really into basketball. That was fun. That was a fun time in my life. But because of that, I flinched a lot for a lot of different reasons. And it took years for that to kind of go away, I guess. But this character has been beaten her entire 22 years, it seems, and she has no residual anything from it. Like, and every once in a while something will come up where she'll be like suddenly like nervous, like she was telling them about her life at the cancer pack at like the food table, and it suddenly goes quiet when she tells them how awful her life has been, and she's like, oh, now I'm suddenly nervous that they're gonna kill me for whatever reason. I don't know, but I'm like, well, that could be the trauma response going out, her immediately thinking they're gonna kill her for saying, oh, I was really badly treated at my pack, like my pack treated me like shit. But that's the only like thing that I was really like, yeah, like this. And it wasn't even done well. And that leads me to the final little complaint I want to attack on here, that's going back to her complaint about Caden. Caden, after they finished, because like apparently the Leo pack killed their parents, and that's one of the reasons Caden is really set on getting revenge. So that kind of kills the conversation. The whole, oh, my parents are dead, oh, her parents are also dead sort of thing kills the conversation. And it kind of like, they eat dinner in silence, I guess, and when he finishes eating, which he finishes eating first, he goes and washes his dish, puts it in the dishwasher, and goes to his room. And she goes, that's the kind of dramatic exit I was expecting from him from the beginning. Dramatic exit? Dramatic how? Especially because she immediately after that washes her own dish and goes to her own room. And they're like, oh, that's just normal. So what made his exit dramatic and yours not? Neither exit was dramatic, but like his exit was not dramatic. But I digress. I am going to keep reading. Also, speaking of fucking dramatic exits, and after he tells her, I suspect that your mother's a moon witch, she doesn't take it well. She goes, no, that's not possible. She was human. He says, I took a step back from Caden, his words ringing in my ears. And even if that was true, there's no way for me to find out because my entire family is dead. He goes, I'm sorry. I know what that's like because, he told her the story about how his parents and all of the big, like, trusted advisors and all of that were killed by the Leo pack. And she goes, I laughed, but it was bitter. No, you don't. You know, you have your sister and your pack, but me, I don't have anyone at all. And then she runs away into the house. Girlfriend, his parents are dead. His parents were also murdered. The fact that his sister is alive and he has a pack doesn't mean that he doesn't know what you were feeling, because what do you think it was like immediately after his parents were dead? Like, that's a lot of assumptions to make about someone you barely talked to. You said that this was the most words you've ever heard him speak. Like, what do you know about his life experiences? All you know is how his life looks right now, and that it probably didn't always look that way. But whatever, she wants to be dramatic, I guess. This main character loves to be fucking dramatic. This main character loves to mope and whine about shit. She is such a whiny baby. I'm trying to be forgiving because she has such a hard life, but the fact that she is so confidently wrong and confidently sarcastic and doesn't give a fuck, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like her. I wish I could say I hope she dies, but I doubt she'll die because she's the main character. Time for an infamous car update. Oh my god, there's been so much. So let's go ahead and start with what has happened since I last updated you, I think. First off, she got invited to observe a hunt. which she was super excited about. Though she did complain. She was like, the cancer pack never would have taken me on a hunt or whatever. She said that they've never taken her on a hunt. And I was like, I understand the cancer pack was shit, right? But like, you were human. You didn't have your wolf yet. Of course they didn't invite you on a hunt. But beside the point, that's semantics, I guess. Like, maybe she was talking about hypotheticals. I don't know. And then she's been like continuing her training or whatever. We have our first spicy scene. It was a dream though, so I don't know how much it counts, but it did great graphic. She dreams about sleeping with this guy, with Caden, who she apparently still is on the whole. He just growls at me the entire time or whatever. But she did have a sex dream about him, and in the middle of the sex dream, he barged into her room, thinking that she was being attacked or something. And then he realized what it smelled like, and he was like, don't dream about having sex with your mate under my roof or some shit, and then he left, which, that one is stupid, because I was like, you can't control what you dream about, but whatever. And then, it was like, and she said it was awkward after that, which I was like, I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be, but whatever, like, I guess. And then there was a point where they went on a nice little walk around the perimeter, I guess. And, it's a little bit confusing how far outside of the territory for the pack they went, because it seemed like they didn't walk that far off the path, but then they were attacked by some of the Aries pack, and she gets like headbutted, because all of these packs have special pack powers. I don't know if I talked about that. It seemed like inconsequential at the time when it was first mentioned, because it was just talking about the crab. The cancer pack has like a crab armor or something like that. But like I was like, okay. And I guess the Leo pack has some sort of special howl, or like a special roar or something like that. And then the Aries pack has a special like headbutt, I guess. But she gets headbutted in the side, and I guess it breaks some of her ribs. She acts like she's never broken no rib before. She said she's never felt pain like it before. And that she usually just breathes past the pain, but she can't breathe now. But I'm like, you mentioned earlier that you did break ribs before. But did you just never have trouble breathing when you broke those ribs before? But again, whatever, I'll digress. I'll let it go. The reason I'm filming this is because, tell me why the fuck Caden is able to heal her just by licking her? And look, licking can be hot, right? Like, the basic concept of it, sure, but just the idea of him spending several minutes licking where her ribs are to heal her, it kind of gives me the ick. It kind of, like, ugh, like, I don't know, like, if he was licking her for sexual reasons, right? If he was, like, licking a trail down her or something, that'd be different. But he's just, like, lapping at her ribs. And also, when he finishes, he lifts up, and she says that he licks his lips like he is tasting something delicious. And I was like, he was just licking your flesh. Your flesh should not be tasting delicious. And I have a distinct feeling that they're actually, like, real mates, and that her mating bond with the Leo kid is fake, because the Sun Witches set it up, I think. But I have a feeling they are mates, but that shouldn't make your skin suddenly taste good. Like, skin tastes like skin. I'm sorry. And it's just, I can't. I don't want to. Some updates for you all. We have officially entered Spice territory. The main characters in this have officially slept together. And let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So, first off, what was it kind of good, the Spice itself? Yeah, you know what? I kind of vibed with it. It was pretty basic, but it did include a marathon, if you know what I mean. Because the main character went into heat, and apparently, and I'll get into a whole rant about this in a second here, but apparently, because she is a mated female, but her partner is not there or whatever, she will be going, or it's because she's packless or something like that, she would be going into heat every month on the full moon or whatever, until she joined a pack, I guess. And so she went into heat, And the main male character was like, listen, if we do this, it can only be for one night. And she's like, yes, yes, please, whatever. And so they have a whole night of just nonstop. And it mostly just describes, the first instance or two, but that part, I think it was great because the main character didn't talk much, wasn't much in her head, it was all physical action, and so it didn't have that much of the opportunity to annoy me. I think that's why it worked out the best, but I will say the spice has been the best thing about this book so far. That being said, there was one part where the main character clarifies, like this won't get me pregnant, right? Or do I have to worry about pregnancy, all of that. And the guy was like, no, because only mates can make their mate pregnant or whatever. And I have a problem with this statement for several reasons. First off, if that was the case, then why would she be going into heat so often? And it says specifically that the heat pheromones specifically targets unmated males. So why would this be the case if those unmated males would not be able to get her pregnant? And look, this may be the biologist. I have a degree in biology, so that may be me talking, but there's no evolutionary reason for these unmated males to have a reaction to a mated female's pheromones if the female can only be bred by her mate. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. Especially because it says that she only started going into heat because she was mated. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's because she just recently got her wolf, and maybe that's why. Maybe I'm misremembering what it said exactly. But I digress. If only her mate can get her pregnant, then how does that work? Especially considering her whole thing is that she was born because her dad, who was mated to her stepmom, had a baby outside of that mating. So does it only apply to the female shifters? That, reproduction only happens with mates, but not the male shifters? And again, if that's the case, then why? What's the evolutionary reason that the male shifters can get females that aren't their mate pregnant, but the females can only be bred by their mate? Because then why would the males be able to breed at all? Unless they were mated, right? And if not everyone has a mate, then those bloodlines just end. So just some thoughts, just some brief confusions about all of that. That setup doesn't make sense, and on top of that, it would only be magic that would cause mates only to get each other, to be able to reproduce, right? Because biologically, having a partner doesn't keep you from being able to be bred by others. And the whole point of a heat cycle is for the males to fight over who gets to breed you, but if you can only be bred by your mate, then what's the point of even having, what's the point? What's the point? But I digress. Those were my feelings about the spicy scene. Besides that, we also get, she's embarrassed, I guess, after, and things are awkward between them now, so whatever. But she ends up going on some sort of mission with, the others. They called us they're just doing a supply run, and they offer her, hey, you can run free if you want. We won't stop you or whatever. And she decides she wants to stay because she wants this to become her pack. And then when they get back, actually they're attacked. I'm going too quickly. They're attacked. She helps fight the, it's not even the Leo pack, it's it's the Aries pack that the Leo pack is sending on their little chores or whatever. So the Aries pack attacks again, and I guess there's some Taurus with them this time. And so she helps the other wolves fight back, I guess. And then they all go back, and it turns out, the whole offer for her to leave was set up by Caden. It's a test apparently every single wolf that wants to join the pack has to go through, I guess. It kind of seems like that means, do you guys kidnap every single one of the people that you have to join your pack? But whatever, it doesn't matter. But then the main character gets suspicious, and she's like, did he set up the attack? Did he know we were going to get attacked? He put everyone in danger just so I could join the pack earlier, because there's like a whole thing where apparently there's more tests you want to go to, but because she fought with the pack and defended them, they decided to just quicken her joining the pack. But I guess when she asked this, he basically said like, oh, I mean, it was one reason, but he didn't want her just like going through the heat every month or something. And she took it personally at first, and then he was like, no, it's for your own protection or something like that. And then they kiss, and it's like, oh, there are feelings here or whatever. Also, the pack ceremony included getting bit by a snake, and the venom or whatever is what allows you to be part of their pack. That was kind of cool. You know what? I'll hand that to them. And yeah, and that's the short version of everything that happened. I left out a lot of really annoying stuff with her. I really just don't like this main character. This main character is, I understand she went through a hard pass, but she has this weird, I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say confidence, because I wouldn't necessarily call it confidence, but she congratulates herself for very small things, and like doesn't fully think through other people's situations, and likes to jump to conclusions, and it's just overall, she annoys the crap out of me. But I have about 30 minutes left of this book, so you and me, we are going to finish this book right now, and then I'll give my final thoughts on this book series. Or I guess the first book, because I'm obviously not going to continue this series after this. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to it. This main character is so stupid. So they're finally putting together a plan where they're using her as bait for the Leo pack, right? Which is the entire deal that they've made this entire time. That was the whole point of everything, is for her to be able to get her revenge by destroying the Leo pack, using her as bait. And now that they're actually going through the plan, she suddenly is scared about being bait and doesn't want to be bait or whatever. And she even says, hold on, because they're talking about her mating bond with Jordan and how he will be drawn to her, will have to find her because they're mates or whatever. And she goes, this is a fun trip down memory lane and all, I said, unable to hide the bitterness in my tone. But can we get back to the part where I'm gonna be bait? Are you actually planning on to give me up? Why would they do that? You literally just joined their pack. Why the fuck would they actually give you up? That's the whole point of being used as bait, is that you don't get given up. And when, and Kaden even says, of course not, he said, as if I was being daft. You are being daft. You're being a fucking idiot. That's what you're fucking being. This is why I don't like this female character. This is why she has been driving me up the wall this entire book. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. The reason I don't like her is because she's stupid. She's incredibly stupid. All of the things that she jumps to are stupid. And look, I feel like the author wanted them to be like a reaction to like her past or whatever, so she doesn't really trust anyone because she had a really bad background. However, it's not written right. It's not written in the way that these things would actually appear on a person that had her trauma. Especially when she has stated in the story that she does trust Caden, but she sure doesn't act like it. This author has actually, this entire story has been really bad about telling us that there's like chemistry between the characters and telling us, like, again, how I complain that they keep on saying Caden is just like glaring and growling all the time, but we don't actually see it happen. We just get told that it's happening. And etc., etc., etc. The main character's trauma is just another thing where she acts like a completely normal human, except for when she suddenly decides to be stupid and insecure. There are so many ways that she could have incorporated PTSD from her past to make this character feel more realistic, to kind of more reflect the way her past would have actually affected someone. But instead, we just get, again, insecurity is the only evidence of her past, which doesn't fully make sense the types of insecurities she has, considering what her background actually looked like. But I digress. We'll continue and see how this plan, I'm gonna guess, is gonna ultimately fail, because this is a 4-book series. Bro, their plan is so stupid. They were literally like, we messaged the Leo Pack and they agreed to meet us. And then they go to the meeting spot and the Leo Pack doesn't show up. At least as of yet. There's still a chance they might suddenly dash from somewhere hidden. I don't know. Because there's, I don't know. There's still 15 minutes left of this book. But, like, what were they expecting? Why were they expecting the Leo Pack to just meet them? Like, I don't understand. The Leo Pack, of course, would smell a fucking trick. When, hey, the last she was seen, she was fighting with this pack, and now they're giving her up. Okay. They're home, and then an alarm goes off, and they're like, oh, the Leo Pack, they must have been there the entire time and followed us back. Yeah, because you guys are stupid. Oh, whatever. Honestly, the fact, too, that it takes them this long to find them is also kind of stupid. Not gonna lie. Because the first attack should not have been as far of the border as the book then made it seem, in my opinion. Because it seemed like they didn't walk that far away from the border before Caden's like, oh shit, we're outside the border, let's go back. But yet, they hadn't found him. But he did have to run for a while to bring her back to the safety of the border, so I don't know what was up with that, to be honest. But, like, it was still a stupid plan. finished it. Here's the final update of what happens at the end. They go back home, after they realize, like, oh, the Leos don't show up, we go home. And the Leos, I guess, follow them from the rendezvous site to where the pack was, and then attacks the, area that the pack lives in, I guess, like the little town. They use sun witches to just attack the town and storm in, and everyone fights them off, but just when they're leaving or whatever, she feels a pull to go to Jordan, and when she gets there, he reveals that I have the sun witches surrounding all of the babies, and if you don't come with us, we're gonna set them on fire. So then she goes with them, and that's it, the end. I told y'all their plan was stupid, and the fact that when the Leos didn't show up, they're just like, well, we'll just go home then. So stupid. So stupid. Oh, like, of course the Leo pack is not going to go to a meeting place that you decided that has a time that benefits you. Like, they know how to set traps. They can see a trap. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, now let's get into my overall thoughts. Let's get into the wrap up here. Alright, so this book will get 2 stars. Because I did finish it. Unlike, you know, I want to say maybe the last 2. I know I for sure DNF'd the last month's Exploring Smut book. So this already puts it above that one. The fact that I was able to finish it despite all my annoyances with the main character. Because the overall, like, overarching plot was, like, kept me curious enough that I wanted to at least finish it just to see where it goes. And while, again, the main character was so stupid and I waxed poetic about her stupidity for this entire video, I still was like, I wanted to see what stupid thing she was going to say next. So, you know, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. Now, I feel like there's a lot of characters that, like, we were introduced to at the beginning that just were, like, kind of irrelevant, but they might become relevant later on in the series, because, like I said, this book is 4 books or something like that. I think my friend said that there are 4 books, plus there's one that's, like, technically, like, it's 4 books for the end of the story, and there's, like, a 5th book that's, like, it might be unrelated? I don't know. But I feel like there's definitely ways that this main character could have been written better. I feel like there was this nice premise set up, while there was a few things that didn't necessarily fully make sense. There could be some things that I felt like didn't make sense, that maybe I missed something when I was reading. Because usually once I am no longer fully enjoying the story, sometimes I don't take in all the aspects of the information because I'm too busy raging about how stupid the main character is. So, as always, I recommend people read books that sound interesting to them, despite what my opinion is, because this book has an actually pretty high overall rating on Goodreads. It has like a 4 point something on Goodreads, so who knows, maybe you will read this and absolutely love it. Not the case for me. But like I've said, the spice itself was pretty good-ish. There was no knot, but there was a heat cycle, and I do like the kind of frenzied heat part of these kind of wolf books as a whole. But besides that, like, the spice, while good, wasn't anything special. Like, it was pretty vanilla. It was pretty basic. It was, like I said, it was enjoyable, but not, like, completely, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say arousing, because that's not the, it was just basic. Like, it's the same setup for every spice scene, I feel like that's in every book, so there wasn't anything special being done to it. And the whole point of this series is I want to kind of explore different stuff, and so it's a little disappointing the author didn't go full tilt into at least being a little bit more of the wolfishness, a little bit more into, like fleshing out some of the aspects of the story, especially around the spice. Again, like I said earlier in this video, there was a lot of telling. Like, we were told over and over again that there was this chemistry between the main character and Caden, the love interest. But honestly, you didn't really feel it towards near the end there. Like, you only kind of started feeling it after they kind of slept with each other, which is not how it's supposed to work. There was just not enough, I feel like, good build up to that point, which is probably why the spice overall was kind of a letdown. And there was that dream spice scene that happened early on, but, like, that was neither here or there because it was a dream. So it didn't really count for, like, you know, setup wise, because dreams can be weird, you know? Dreams can be a bit unexpected. Though also, like I have said previously in this video too, this author had died at some point at the end of last year. So maybe if you want to check out the spice yourself, give it a read. Hopefully help support the family a little bit. But there's definitely better spice out there. I've read it on the show. The spice that I read near the beginning of the show was so much better. Maybe I need to go back to Ice Planet Barbarians for next month. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided what next month's read is going to be. I kind of want to do a cowboy romance. I digress. Let me finish wrapping up this book. The final thing I want to talk about is the world as a whole. Because, again, I think that there was some interesting things going on with this premise. I think there's a lot of potential for what this story could be. And I don't know if this is like the first book an author has written or not. I would have thought The Empress was the first book that author has written, and I was completely wrong. So you never know. But this is the kind of writing where, like, it could get better. Like, the author could learn better craft, and maybe her later books are better. Maybe as the series goes on, it gets better. But I'm not invested in enough in the characters to continue to see it through. Also, between you and me, I kind of, like, am a bit iffy when it comes to zodiac, like, themed worlds for fantasy books. There are very few examples I have of liking books with that theme. I did like Zodiac Academy. I like the way the zodiacs were used in that one and that world, despite the fact that I think I DNF'd. I can't remember if it was it was book 7 or book 8. I think it was book 7 and I didn't read book 8 because book 7 was so horrifically bad, which made me really, really sad because I loved the story up until that point. And I felt like there was some things going on in this story that felt kind of reminiscent of Zodiac Academy, but I'm not sure if that was coincidental or not. But, like, overall, Zodiac-themed magic system and worlds struggle to actually capture the depth that astrology and Zodiac have. Like, I would love a book that the magic system fully dives into Zodiac and astrology in a more fleshed out way, because, you know, there's more than just the sun sign. There's the sun sign, the moon sign, the rising sign, which, forgive me, but a werewolf book I feel like should have a lot more to do with the moon sign of a zodiac. How they would have incorporated it to this world, I don't know, because the moon signs change a lot more than the sun signs, because the moon goes through multiple zodiac phases, like, throughout the month. Like, it's exchanging zodiac signs a lot quicker. But I digress. If you guys have any recs for fully fleshed out zodiac magic systems that incorporate more astrology and more zodiac stuff besides just the sun sign, let me know down below. The more fantasy heavy, the better. And yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, comment down below better Zodiac books. I would be willing to check them out if they're well written. It's definitely going to get a gold star from me considering how many Zodiac books aren't well written. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you subscribe, you get to see more videos like this. I do this show as a monthly segment on my channel, but I also upload other reading related content. I'm hoping next week's episode will be about Emily Henry, because I'm almost done with her backlog, so I'm going to be deep diving into all of her books, which are my favorite, which are my least favorite, the things I've noticed about her writing, all of that. I think it's going to be so much fun. So subscribe to see that. And anyway, thank you for watching up to this point. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.